Hundreds of years ago, the city of Krat was known for being religious and worshipping someone called the One-Winged Angel. According to the religious text, this angel came from a star that humans wished for, descending to humanity. It took the form of a human. The One-Winged Angel loved humanity and wanted to give them immortality. At one point, the people of Krat were untrusting of the One-Winged Angel and decided the best course of action to remove them from power would be to dismember them, leaving behind the arm of God and giving the people of Krat Ergo through his divine corpse. So what is Ergo exactly? Turns out it is an energy source coming from the remains of crystallized people that became that way due to the petrification disease. The disease is said to turn your blood blue and your skin to a rocky texture. For example, Lady Antonia, the hotel owner of Krat, clearly has this disease. It also stores memories which can reawaken inside of other vessels. Guess that's one way of giving humans immortality, the transfer of ego from one vessel to another. Several hundred years later, the alchemists find the Ergo under Krat and experiment with it to see if they can achieve immortality. The alchemists invite Geppetto, a prestigious engineer, to come to Krat after the discovery of Ergo, where he learned Ergo can give life to vessels, or as we call them, puppets. This caused the founding of the Workshop Union that helped mass-produce these puppets with the help of Vanini. Since we know that Ergo can reawaken memories, some puppets started obtaining these memories. One of them awoke and killed Vanini's parents, but this tragedy wasn't reported on because telling the people of Krat that puppets can kill humans would ruin the puppet business. To keep this from happening again, Geppetto and Vanini created the Grand Covenant, which are 4 core laws that every puppet is bound by. Law 1. A puppet must always obey its creator and masters. Law 2. A puppet must not harm human beings. Law 3. A puppet must protect and serve the people of Krat. Law 4. A puppet cannot tell a lie. All these events caused the city of Krat to go through a great industrial revolution over the next 30 years, creating an advanced civilization. During this time, Geppetto was too busy to attend to his son, Carlo, who trained to become a stalker at the Monad Charity House. What exactly are stalkers? Stalkers are the vigilantes of Krat, which come in 2 groups. The bastards mostly deal with the rich upper class and the alchemists, while the sweepers support the lower class citizens. Each stalker wears an animal mask, which stems from a tradition of the citizens of Krat. Some of these masks come with filters that ward off the petrification disease. There are some stalkers who don't swear allegiance to either group, such as the legendary stalker. Carlo was able to meet the legendary stalker and asked for her to train him to become a great stalker himself. It is implied that they learned how to train together, but unfortunately, Carlo catches the petrification disease and dies shortly after. He made friends with Romeo, who also aspired to be a stalker. Unfortunately, just like Carlo, Romeo also passed from the petrification disease. Before his death, he asked Geppetto to preserve his ego inside a puppet. Using that as consent to do possibly the worst thing to him, he takes his Ergo and puts it inside a puppet that can command every other puppet using Ergo wavelengths. This deems him the name of the King of Puppets. Using this power, he was able to start the puppet uprising, causing the driving conflict at the beginning of the game. But why would the King of Puppets do that? That was for P to find out. Enter P, or Pinocchio, our playable character. We start in a train car inside the train station of Krat, where Sophia reaches out to P through butterfly communication and tells him to meet her at Hotel Krat. Very quickly, we learn of the puppet frenzy killing all living things that weren't puppets around Krat. There, she teaches P that he can lie as a puppet, obviously bypassing the Grand Covenant's 4th rule, that a puppet cannot tell a lie. Hence the name of the game, Lies of P. The first thing we are asked to do when entering the hotel is to find your father Geppetto, who is last seen on Elysium Boulevard. After saving your father from the stalker Mad Donkey, he points us toward Vanini Works to stop the mass production of puppets at the Workshop Union, which would help suppress the current puppet frenzy. There, we battle against several puppets, meet Vanini, and put an end to the production of newer puppets. During this time, we meet a mysterious and deeply unsettling voice named Arlecchino on a phone. He gives us some riddles to answer, and if answered correctly, he gives us a Trinity key. After stopping the production of newer puppets, Vanini finds out a huge number of puppets are heading toward the cathedral, which was thought to be a safe haven for humans to hide out during the puppet frenzy. He worries that the puppets will start killing the remaining humans and humbly requests P to help defend the building from puppets. Once you arrive there, though, you find a new enemy type called carcasses that the puppets were actively fighting. You aren't able to find any surviving humans, which isn't surprising after finding out what happened here. Remember the arm of God that we got from the one-winged angel hundreds of years ago? Well, it is believed to be the source of the petrification disease. Archbishop Andreas believed that the arm of God was capable of purifying the city of Krat from the petrification disease, and that it was his job to do so. This arm was stolen by Cecile, who was the archbishop's servant, and was transformed by the arm of God into the creature that you fight, which is also the reason why the cathedral has all these carcasses in it. In a trailer, you can also see Geppetto grab the arm of God before leaving the cathedral. Why would Geppetto, of all people, want the arm of God, though? During your visit to the cathedral, you will meet Alidoro, another stalker who is not affiliated with either stalker faction. Alidoro is seen as a hero to the people of Krat, especially to Eugenie, the weapons expert of Hotel Krat.
I know my way around a weapon.
Either way, P enters the cathedral and kills the archbishop. From there, P heads back to the hotel through the Malum district, which also has succumbed to a carcass infestation. There, we meet the Black Rabbit Brotherhood, who work for the alchemists. Their job was to steal ergo and gold coins from the gold coin tree found in Hotel Krat. The gold coins have magical healing properties that the alchemists were trying to replicate for their own benefit. After you kill the big brother of the four, they take the body away safely, begging the alchemists to revive the brother's dead body using alchemist magic. There was also mention of them working with an old broker man, but I feel like we wouldn't know who that would be, right? Afterwards, P is told to deal with the source of the problem, the King of Puppets. Remember how I told you that he communicates using the ergo wavelengths? If we kill the puppet, then the puppet frenzy should stop there since there will be no more communication between all the puppets. So, we make our way to the Rose estate to deal with him. After finding our way inside, Carlo gives us a presentation, possibly as a warning of the intentions someone has to do with us. Unfortunately, since we aren't fluent in puppet wavelength and charades as a puppet, he fights us to prevent his downfall. We end the King of Puppets, which caused the puppets to stop fighting. Simon Manus is an alchemist who believes that the petrification disease is a good thing because of the potential for enhanced humans. For some reason, he can read minds, which is probably caused by ergo experimentation. He got sick of how he knew people could lie to him, so he spread the petrification disease, hoping to research the effects of the cure and enhance humanity with the results. Also, his middle name is Pistris, which I thought was funny. Sometimes the cure will turn the body into mindless carcasses because the body cannot find their ego again. Some of the alchemists use ergo to rebuild themselves as stronger beings, such as Victor. Unfortunately, they need a feed of ergo to continue keeping their strength. There are some exceptions, like Laxasia, who is able to keep her immortality without the constant use of ergo. Simon talks with P and invites him to the Isle of Alchemists, but doesn't tell us how to get there. We ask around and it turns out that Geppetto was commissioned by the alchemists to create a prototype submarine. There's two problems though. We don't know where the sub is, and we need a fuel source to use it. Antonio, the old lady, tells us that she knows where the passage is, but it needs to be opened from the alchemist's side. We put that task on the back burner and search for the fuel source instead. Geppetto suggests visiting the barren swamps as there are a huge number of dead puppets there, meaning a good source of good ergo. We find it, but not after fighting the green monster of the swamp. Defeating the monster, we find golden ergo that would work perfectly for fueling the sub. Afterwards, we head to the workshop tower to see if we can find an alchemist that can open the path for us to the submarine. There, we travel back through the train station and even find where we started the game. Hitting a wall behind your chair opens to a workshop, Geppetto's specifically, where we learn that Simon Manus was here before us. Turns out the arm of God was hidden behind us in the workshop right when we woke up. It was here after Geppetto stole it from the archbishop at the cathedral, and it was stolen again by Simon Manus as he was able to read our ergo memory to find out the location of the arm. These memories were stolen during the first time we met in the Grand Exhibition. Crowd is a mineral that grows with more ergo present. With the amount of ergo increasing because of puppets killing humans, the crystals were able to break through the ground, causing the eruption that happens here. After ascending the workshop tower, we fight many alchemists and the Walker of Illusions, who would not cooperate with opening the door to the sub. Descending in an elevator, Sophia warns us that the hotel is under attack. After fighting our way back to the hotel, we learn that the Black Rabbit Brotherhood, the Fox, the Cat, and Alidoro attacked the hotel, kidnapping Geppetto by Simon Manus' request. But why would Alidoro, of all people, help kidnap Geppetto? Talking to Antonio again, she remembers a different path behind her painting that can be opened by playing a specific chord on the piano. Before heading down, we learn that there is a reason why the King of Puppets caused the puppet frenzy. We find out late in the game that Geppetto was able to overwrite any request to Carlo with a secret Rule 0 that Geppetto is the creator, meaning he can override all puppet rules. After becoming a puppet, he found out about what the alchemists had planned for the people of Krat in the future, and vowed to stop them through the use of the puppet frenzy. Throughout the game, you can hear the puppets trying to communicate with P. Turns out that was Carlo attempting to reach out and tell P that he wanted to keep humanity safe by ridding the world of all carcasses and the alchemists who were creating these carcasses from their research. Unfortunately, he was stopped by P, which caused the huge carcass outbreak shortly thereafter, since there were no puppets to fight off the ever-increasing number of carcasses. With that knowledge in mind, we headed underground, finding the remains of the relic of Trismegistus. This makes it sound like an artifact, but it was more like a location. This location is the previous civilization that was buried beneath Krat before Krat became a metropolis. Think of it sort of like Stonehenge. This was probably where the one-winged angel first made contact with humanity. Here we meet the Black Rabbit Brotherhood again, who attempt to revive their brother using alchemist science. Finding Alidoro, you learn that the Alidoro that you have been talking to is not the same Alidoro in the stories, but his old partner, fittingly named Parrot, that stole his identity after killing him. His reason? Alidoro didn't make enough profits. You can choose to kill him here or leave him alive. Defeating all of them, we take the sub to the Isle and learn more about Sophia. Turns out the Sophia we see at the hotel was actually a projection, and she's being held captive by Simon and the alchemists. Sophia was able to hear ergo, which is how she was able to increase the power of P. This also meant she could hear the puppet's memories. With this power, she was able to rewind time to prevent you from dying. Also, she pleads P to save her from Simon Manus by climbing the Arch Abbey. Simon Manus and the alchemists built the Arch Abbey Tower to absorb all the ergo in Krat to help with his ascension into godhood and immortality. You know, same old with the alchemists. During this climb, we meet Arlecchino in person, who turns out to be a puppet that served an alchemist when his ego awoke early on. This made him realize that ergo was the memories of humanity before the alchemists, but the way the humans treated puppets caused him to go on a murdering spree, vowing to take revenge on all humans. Also, it turns out that during his murder spree, Arlecchino murdered Vanini's parents. You can choose to kill him here, or leave him alive. After enough climbing, he meets with Laxasia the Complete, the right hand of Simon. Defeating her, we see Sophia in the next room in a tragic form of threads and horrific holes in her lower torso. She begs P to give her peace from this life. If you decide to end her life, you absorb her ergo. Some more climbing and you find Geppetto and free him from his cage. He asks us one last time to do something for him. Take Simon down once and for all. Meeting with Simon at the top of the tower, he looks monstrously deformed, having absorbed the ergo of practically everyone and everything in Krat. After fighting for a bit, his form evolves, hatching an immortal being from a twisted egg found on his shoulder. An intense fight ensues, and P wins the fight. Before dying, Simon warns P to watch out for Geppetto, which gives us the arm of God. Riding the central elevator down, we find Geppetto at the bottom of the Arch Abbey. There, we find out about Geppetto's true intentions. Geppetto reveals that this whole tragedy started because of him. His portion was mainly the puppet frenzy, all for the intention to make Carlo a real boy. Geppetto didn't just want to awaken Carlos's ego, but he wanted him to become a real boy again, made of flesh and blood. The nameless puppet is the first attempt at Geppetto reviving his son after the petrification disease took him. He also reveals that in order for this process to succeed, he would need the arm of God and the P organ charged up with ergo collected from slain puppets. Here we can have 3 different endings occur. If you choose to give Geppetto your heart, he will take it out of your body and replace your body with Carlos's flesh and blood body. This is also reflected in-game as your eye color turns to its original brown color. He also requests Carlo to murder everyone in the hotel, as they have knowledge of his involvement in the puppet frenzy. He also replaces all members of the hotel with puppet replacements, who will always serve Geppetto and Carlo no matter what. The other 2 endings are determined by how much humanity you obtain throughout the game. Both endings require you to rebel against your father and fight the nameless puppet controlled by Geppetto, intent to take P's heart by force. After some time fighting though, the nameless puppet becomes uncontrollable and Geppetto jumps in front of a blade that was about to kill P, allowing P to deal the final blow, punching out the heart of the nameless puppet using his legion arm. Depending on the ending, Geppetto will either despise the person that P has become since he is not human enough, or love the person P becomes because he is human enough, even weeping for his father's death. If you take the ergo from Sophia instead of leaving her there, you can give the ergo to a puppet that looks shockingly like her and revive her. That should be the full lore of Lies of P before the DLC. Good luck, Bree.